Hey guys, this is Matt and you're watching TV Punch for Tuesday, October 20th, and today I'm going to talk about The Flash, Season 2, Episode 3, titled Family of Rogues. As always, I'm going to run through some quick hits, just some quick things that I noticed or thought were cool or just worth mentioning, and then I'm going to go on to the main plot points. So with that said, be careful for spoilers. If you haven't watched the episode yet, pause this, go watch it, come back, you'll be glad you did. But the first thing I want to touch on real quick is the very beginning of the episode was really cool. Iris is being shot at. She calls Barry for help. Barry's across town or wherever, and without even thinking, he says, jump out a window. He's across town, and he tells her to jump out a window. She does. He flashes over to her, runs up the side of a building, catches her in what I thought was a scene very reminiscent of the 1978 Chris Reeve Superman, where Superman catches Lois and she says, "You've got me, who's got you?" I thought that was a great scene, really fun between Barry and Iris, and just shows off his speed, her trust in him, really, really fun. There's a part where Captain Cold freezes the Flash about up to his chest, and Cisco has to activate like a heating device in his Flash symbol to melt the ice. Could he not have just vibrated out of that or used some super friction or something to melt all that stuff? Do we really need like a technological explanation for that? I love Leonard Snart sticking Barry with the dinner bill. They're in a bar. They're having some dinner. Barry says he's going to take Leonard down if he has to. Leonard says, we'll see about that. He leaves. He says, thanks for dinner. And the next thing you know, Barry's stuck with the check. That was a nice sort of I thought that was a very Captain Cold-esque thing to do. Kind of a middle finger to Barry. And just real quick, I love Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold. He is fantastic. Apparently, there is a Big Belly Burger on every Earth in the multiverse. I guess it's just that good. Can you freeze lasers? They are going to steal some diamonds. Captain Cold just holds his cold gun up to some laser alarms and just freezes them. Maybe you can. I'm not a physicist. I don't know science things. But can you do that? Moving on to the major plot points of this episode, there was 4 of them I'm going to touch on. The first one being, we get some more of Jay Garrick hanging out in Star Labs. He's basically working on what they've called the speed cannon, which is basically there's a wormhole, one of the 52 wormholes that they mentioned last week. The biggest one apparently is right in the middle of Star Labs. They're working on opening it. They're successful with Caitlin's help. Jay asked Caitlin for a little bit of help. I think they're a little bit sweet on each other, so I think we're going to see that develop a little more throughout the season, and I'm sure there's going to be some great tension because I'm sure at some point, once they open the portal back to Earth 2, which again they did do in this episode, but I'm sure once they really start traveling back and forth, we're going to find Ronnie has been stranded on Earth 2. There's going to be a little bit of tension there, I think, between Jay and Ronnie, because they're both going to have a little thing for Caitlin, so that'll be interesting to see. Near the end, Jay wants to go back home to Earth 2, but Team Flash convinces him to stay. They say that they could use his help, taking down Zoom and learning other things. Barry said it would be helpful for him to stick around and help get some speedster tips every now and then, and Jay agrees to stay. So that's awesome. I was hoping that he wouldn't leave so soon because I really like his character. So far, we've only seen him in 2 episodes, but he seems like a pretty cool guy. I'm interested to see how he works with Barry some more, how he helps the rest of the team. So good on him for sticking around for a little while. Next up, meet Louis Snart. So he is Leonard Snart's and Lisa Snart's father, played by Michael Ironside, who is just as awesome in this as he is in everything else. And in this, he plays a really bad dude. So he beat his children when they were little, we find out. He made a guy's head explode, so apparently he's injecting people with teeny tiny little explosives, and if they don't cooperate, boom, their brains splatter all over the place. And that's how he coerces Leonard into helping him steal these diamonds, not by planting a bomb in Leonard's head, but by planting a bomb in Lisa's head. So that's pretty terrible. It's his own daughter, and he's gonna plant a bomb in her head just so he can get some diamonds. Yeah, this guy's a really bad guy. Luckily, Barry and Leonard team up and are able to take him down together. Barry kind of poses as a bad guy as part of their crew, which was actually pretty funny. He says, "How hard can it be?" And he manages to pull it off, although it was pretty humorous. But this plot point right here was pretty much just a one and done, just sort of a villain of the week kind of thing. And I think it was actually more served to give us a little bit more backstory on Leonard Snart, because he's going to be part of Legends of Tomorrow, as we know. So I think this kind of builds his character a little bit more. At the end of the episode, he ends up killing his own father because he really, really hates him. I mean, obviously he planted a bomb in his sister's head, but he goes to jail for it. But we know that he's not going to stay there because he is going to be part of Legends of Tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets out. There's one of about 1 million ways that can happen. So that'll be fun. But yeah, some great character building for Captain Cold. As we're going to get more of him later on in the season. So we get a little bit more backstory on Joe's ex-wife and Iris's mom. She showed up at the end of last week's episode. We didn't really know where she's been or why she's been gone. We learned all of that this episode, and it was pretty cool. So apparently, Joe lied to Barry and Iris many years ago when they were kids and said that she was dead. We don't know why. I mean, that seems like a pretty terrible thing, right? I mean, Joe flat out lied to them and everybody else, said that Iris's mom was dead, when it turns out she was just a drug addict. He by his own words, he said that she did everything wrong. And the reason he did this is because he didn't want Iris to grow up feeling like she had been abandoned by her mom. So she left. She did abandon them. And Joe just instead told Iris that she passed away. He told her all these good stories about her so she'd grow up with great memories of her mom. So it was a really emotional and gut-wrenching scene between Joe and Iris. Jesse L. Martin and Candace Patton knocked this one out of the park. Third week in a row that we get an awesome, emotional, just a great scene from Jesse Martin playing that awesome father figure. He is really killing it this season so far. And we're only 3 episodes in. I didn't really know how this was going to go. I mean, hey, Iris, your mom's alive, and I told you she was dead, and for the last 20 years you thought she was dead. I thought Iris was kind of going to go off the handle a little bit, but she forgave him. She said she understood. That was really powerful, so that's going to be a big plot point throughout this season, is her meeting her mom. Joe mentioned that that Iris is going to meet up with her mom. That's going to be great. This is also going to open the door, again, like I said last week, for Wally West to come in. I don't know how quite yet, but that's how he's going to come in at some point. But great scene, great character building, and this is going to be really interesting to watch. Last thing I'll mention, I'm going to kind of roll 2 plot points into one here because we get 2 crazy things that happen at the end of this episode. First one being more of Martin Stein not feeling too well. He firestorms up, if you will, all by himself, but then the flames turn blue, which was pretty cool, a little weird. And then he passes out, and we don't really know what's going on. So he passed out at the end of last episode, and he did it again this one. In the trailer for next week, it's all about Firestorm. We meet the new Firestorm, which everybody keeps saying Jason Rush, but there's a shot in the preview for next week that says Jay Jackson or whatever his character's name is. It's not Jason Rush. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we're going to get a lot more Firestorm next week. So we're definitely going to find out what happens with Martin Stein. And of course, we know he's going to be in Legends of Tomorrow, so we know he's going to be okay. But getting there is what's going to be the fun. And then the last scene of the episode, Earth 2, Harrison Wells comes through the portal that's in Star Labs, and now he's in Earth 1. We don't know what he's going to do. Again, and we don't know if he's the real Harrison Wells. We don't know if he's Earth 2 Eobard Thawne in Harrison Wells' body, or we don't know what's going on with him. Like I said, I still stick to my theory that he is the real Harrison Wells from Earth 2. I don't know what his personality is going to be like, but I think he is going to stick around. So that's going to be really cool to see. How are they going to react when they see the face of the man that completely betrayed them? Even though it's not the same guy, it's still going to mess with their emotions, mess with their heads a little bit. So that's going to be fun. I think he'll stick around for a good while. I think I mean, Tom Cavanaugh is going to be a major character. He is still a recurring or one of the main characters in the show. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to gain their trust, but we'll see how it goes. So that's it for this week, guys. Really good story, a lot of good build up for things to come. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep covering The Flash each week as it airs, so if you want to see more of those videos, please subscribe by clicking the button below. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can check it out on YouTube by going to youtube.com/nerdpunch. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook, both of those at nerdpunch. And you can check out nerdpunch.com, where we post some other cool stuff that we find online. And you can check our schedule of upcoming videos. But that's it. So until next time, we'll talk to you later. See ya.